This is a CTV News Break.
Good evening. Coming up on CTV News, a man charged in an historical homicide makes an appearance in provincial court, accused in the death of a mother of 7 killed in her Rostern home in 1985. And what led to another disturbance at the Saskatoon Correctional Centre? Police now called 3 times in 2 weeks. And now what as the Riders drop to 0-5 on the year?
Live in Saskatoon, this is CTV News.
Good evening. There are weather warnings for much of central and southern Saskatchewan tonight, and we will get to those in just a moment. First, we want to show you these images of what looks like a tornado touching down right around the southern Saskatchewan and Manitoba border tonight. Environment Canada started to receive several reports of a tornado near Pearson, Manitoba. It said numerous people reported rotating wall clouds and funnel clouds in southeastern Saskatchewan and southwestern Manitoba. It continues to look into reports of damage to farmsteads, as well as reports of damaged grain bins and roads. Okay, so watches and warnings for central and southern Saskatchewan. That green swath, that is a heavy rainfall warning. There are tornado warnings in the southwestern parts of Manitoba, and there is a severe thunderstorm watch for much of southeast Saskatchewan, as you can see there. Okay, let's go to other news now. A man charged in the 1985 Rostern murder case made an appearance in Saskatoon court today. This is in connection with the death of Francis Wendland 30 years ago. 65-year-old Dennis Henry Hahn is charged with first-degree murder and unlawful confinement. Police say Wendland was killed by 2 masked men while 2 of her daughters and a friend were locked in the basement of their home in Rostern. Hahn has been ordered not to contact 12 people, including the 2 daughters who were locked in the basement. The other man charged in the case is Donald Marlowe. Marlowe was convicted of first-degree murder for being an accessory in the case. The Crown indicated it will call Marlowe as a witness. Some upset drivers this morning in the Sutherland area of Saskatoon. Many woke up this morning to find their tires slashed, leaving them scrambling to get to work or their day's activities, not to mention leaving them pretty angry as well. Eric Westaver reports. Another daily round-trip flight between Saskatoon and Edmonton is being added by WestJet. The airline currently flies between the 2 cities twice daily, but as of December 15th, it will make that trip 3 times a day. The airline is also adding another flight between Edmonton and Regina. Another disturbance at the Saskatoon Correctional Centre. This one happened last night. Saskatoon police were called to the Correctional Centre for the 3rd time in the last couple weeks. Last night, police were asked by jail staff to stand by in case help was needed. Correctional Centre staff were able to contain the disturbance, but police are now trying to determine whether charges will be laid. Last week, a number of inmates caused a disturbance as they tried to escape, and a few days before that, 2 inmates actually scaled the fence, but were eventually caught. The driver of a semi has died after being pinned under the cab of his truck. Happened this morning about 1:30 on Highway 2, about 5 kilometers south of the turnoff to Waskesiu. The semi was hauling logs and became stuck in the mud. RCMP say the driver tried to remove the vehicle from the mud when he became pinned under the cab and died. A co-worker of the driver who was assisting the driver was not injured. The victim's age and name have not been released. Charges have been laid following the death of a 42-year-old man on a Saskatchewan First Nation. Carrot River RCMP were called to a home on the Red Earth First Nation Saturday morning. They found the body of Dion Head and determined he was the victim of a homicide. A 16-year-old boy and a 20-year-old man have been charged with second-degree murder. They're scheduled to appear in Melfort Court tomorrow. Prince Albert National Park, it's about to get a much-needed facelift. The federal government announced infrastructure investments totaling more than $29 million. Sarah Comedina breaks down the projects and the numbers.
This is a CTV News Break.
Good evening, I'm Colin Thomas. Coming up tonight on CTV News, hepatitis C isn't hard to get, but it is hard to know when you've got it. We'll take you to a Saskatoon neighborhood with one of the highest rates in the country. About 40 millimeters of rain dumped on Saskatoon. How did the city streets hold up? And we'll tell you about a tornado touching down southeast of the city. Join us tonight at 11:30. Prime Minister Stephen Harper has made an announcement that could end the Canadian Senate as we know. The PM says he won't make any more Senate appointments. That means the Red Chamber could soon cease to function effectively.
For the past 2.5 years, since the Supreme Court decision and prior, I have not made any appointments to the Senate. There are now 22 vacancies in the Senate. And let me be clear, it will be our policy to formalize that. We will have a moratorium on further Senate appointments.
Meanwhile, NDP leader Tom Mulcair called out Harper today at a campaign stop in Ontario. Mulcair says the PM promised not to appoint any more senators back in 2004 when Harper was the opposition leader. Yet since then, Harper has appointed 59 members to the Red Chamber.
Mr. Harper is no doubt hoping that Canadians will forget that he broke his word almost 60 times and that he is the one responsible for the biggest scandal in the Senate's sorry history. Well, I have a message for you, Mr. Harper. Canadians don't forget so easily.
Well, from Parliament Hill to pigeons, a Prince Albert woman has won a battle over her pet pigeons. Gail Sakamoto, she got a ticket in April for allegedly violating a bird bylaw. Is there such a thing as a bird bylaw? Anyway, people in Prince Albert, they're allowed to keep pigeons as pets, but they must be caged. Oh yes, and wild birds cannot be fed. Sakamoto has previously been ticketed for feeding wild pigeons, but she paid that fine and says she doesn't do it anymore. The judge has ruled in her favor. She says she feels like a large pigeon has been lifted from her shoulders.
I'm just hoping that this would come to an end because it's been going on for so long. And I'm just a little stressed and feel harassed. And I just wish now, with all what the judge had said, that it would be over.
All right, we're out of time. Stu, welcome to the CTV desk.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have you here.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Take care.